This helps me stay young.
Hey friends, this is Joshy over at Letcha Know Gaming, and I just wanted to let you know that I'm playing 3 new games this week. First up, I got Lootbound. Lootbound is a tactical roguelike game, really similar to Slay the Spire. Secondly, I have Memoirium, which is a Souls-like game with a very avant-garde kind of art style to it. And lastly, I have Servant of the Lake, a point-and-click adventure that's kind of popping off in reviews right now. So really interesting stuff with that, so stay tuned for that last game. But first, going over to Lootbound. Lootbound is a tactical roguelike with turn-based combat, loot management, D&D elements. You have a little party eventually through the run. I think it expands the Slay the Spire formula in a lot of fun ways. So it incorporates a backpack mechanic, kind of like how with Sephiria, where you kind of have to organize your backpack and you can run out of room, or you might need to get rid of an item you kind of like to replace it with something even better. Some of these items will give bonuses based on what other items are around them. So if you have a piece of armor and you put a helmet on top of it, it'll give that helmet extra bonuses. So it's a fun way to kind of play Tetris with your items. Towards the end of the run, you'll have 3 different characters, all with their own inventory. But I loved it. I love that aspect of, setting up your backpack. There's light D&D elements where you're rolling a dice, so you'll go and pick, hey, do I want to get this chest? Do I want to go to a blacksmith and upgrade my items? Whatever you choose, you'll go to it, and there'll be 3 options, and each option is significantly harder to roll. So there is an RNG element, and this is a big divisive thing with some people. Some of the reviews, people don't like it because you're trying to roll for a good item and you just whiff on it and then you don't get anything. And yeah, that can kind of suck, but that just means that maybe you should roll for something a little easier to get. I like the little D&D roll with it. It's a fun little flavor. And the fact that it's like a party, it's trying to go for like, hey, you're in a D&D group. One aspect of that D&D group I don't like is you'll collect 2 more party members as the match goes on. But the issue here is that a lot of these party members, you don't control them. When you go at 50% health, he'll heal you and give you armor. There was a moment where I was actually in the last boss of my second run. The boss was 1 hit, and my party member decided to heal instead of killing it, and then I missed my next attack because it had dodge, and then I died and lost the run because the NPC character on my team decided to heal me over killing it. It was really kind of frustrating, but I chose the wrong thing because in this game, instead of playing a boss at the end of each act, there's 3 acts, just like Slay the Spire. At the end of each act, you choose a buff for the final boss. And so I chose a buff for the boss that was like, give it more dodge. And I didn't dodge one time the entire fight until right at the very end. Of course, the last auto, it misses, and then I lose. So it's just like, there's definitely some RNG stuff, and I see why people are complaining about it. But to me, it just meant that I should have picked a different buff for the boss. I should have maybe built a little differently if I chose that boss to have better dodge. Maybe I could have done something better there. The art style is really nice. It's really good pixel art, varied. Each act has different monsters, different biomes. Each hero or champion that you choose is very unique. They all have come with different mechanics, and they're very fun to use. I genuinely enjoyed the game. I didn't have too many issues with it besides this RNG mechanic, and already the developers have patched it to make it maybe a little bit easier. We'll see how they do with that, but I want to give this game a 4 out of 5. I think it's a pick up and play. I don't really have any major issues with it. If you are getting a little burned out in Slay the Spire 2 and you want more of this style of game, go for it. If you want to just try out something new, go for it. If you're over the Slay the Spire thing, maybe skip it. It's definitely just kind of building on top of that and kind of an iteration of it. But overall, Lootbound was a really great game. Secondly, I want to go over Memoirium, and Memoirium to me was a really interesting game because it's a Souls-like game with like PlayStation 1 graphics, and it's a very slow, methodical game. It totally feels like a PS1 game, and it feels like a PS1 game if Dark Souls was made in that era. The art style, the music are incredible. There's a lot of just great sounds, a lot of great music. You go into one area, it's like a little town, and the bass is just slapping. I just love the bass in it. I think it really progressed the game. The bosses are unique. They're interesting. There's one region where there's almost like it's like a lighthouse at a school, and it circles, and as it goes over you, it'll try to attack you with a spell. There's fun little things here. This game, the developer clearly made this from his heart. There's so many little things and little item descriptions, just like any Souls game, where you can really tell that this guy made this game with full-on passion and love. And it's a little frustrating to see that it only has 20 reviews right now because it deserves more than that. There's so many Souls games, so I understand it gets lost in the avalanche of games made in that style. But this game deserves more people playing it. There's even an interesting little mechanic where you have like a house. Instead of having a bomb bonfire there's a door, because this is a world of dreams, and so it's very avant-garde. There's really crazy art, crazy concepts, crazy ideas, and so you can go through your door to rest and you go into a room and you can basically kind of create this room, put a bed, a chair, you just design it however you want. And the item descriptions show you that this guy is reflecting on his life. I think it's really him analyzing his life and where he is today, and it's a love letter to the people who helped him become who he is. There's a sadness to it, there's a darkness to it, just like any dream, but there's also this little flicker of hope and just moving forward and just going through with stuff. And so I really overall enjoyed this game. The combat was methodical, just like the first Dark Souls. Very slow, block, parry, you're not going too fast. You start off with really low endurance, so you can't dodge that much. So I personally like that, and there's a branching pathway where you have a main area and you can go in 3 different directions. One of them is obviously tougher, so you want to go to the other 2 first, just like Dark Souls 1, but they all loop together and eventually it's all interconnected. So I really enjoyed the level design of the game. It was expert. It was totally going for the Dark Souls style of coming back to the main base after you completed an area in a weird way. The stats are, I understand this is a game about dreams, but it got confusing at times. Instead of it just being health, endurance, but just a lot of weird stats that I just didn't really understand at first, and it took me a minute of going over my character, looking at, okay, this stat does this. So once you get that down, it's fine, but for the first 30 minutes, it's like a little too much. There's already enough going on with the craziness of it being a dream world that you don't need to make all the other things as crazy as well. And I think that could be off-putting for a lot of people. But overall, the game was enjoyable. I had fun with it. I really love that the developer really put his heart and soul into this game. I want to give it a 3 out of 5. If you're a Souls fan, go for it. You should 100% play it. There needs to be more people playing this game. It's just not going to be some amazing, crazy game that blows, the socks off of you, but I really enjoyed it. And lastly, I want to go over a very intriguing game for me. It's called Servant of the Lake. It just came out. It's a point-and-click adventure by Rusty Lake, the developers, and it's an unsettling puzzle game with a weird story. You're essentially somebody who shows up at this house for the Vanderbooms at a lake, and they're a very weird family. There's 3 of them, and 2 of them show up, a sister and a brother, for a weekend that they do once a year as a family. It's got this creepy undertone. It's almost like if you're my age in your 30s, you used to watch Salad Fingers on the internet, like the old school Salad Finger videos. There's just that creepy, just something unsettling underneath. The music is just drawing you in. Characters just feel like they're just have the 1,000-yard stare looking through you. A lot of gross little things in the puzzles that happen. It's a pretty short game. It's only a couple hours long, but I was enthralled the whole time. I'd never play point-and-click adventure games. I don't play puzzle games. Like puzzle games, I'm not good at all. I'm more used to seeing something and going for it. And so this game made me really think, and there were some times I got really stuck. I was getting frustrated with myself, and eventually sometimes I got through, and there's a couple times I had to look it up because I was just so clueless. I'm not an expert at this, but it made me more interested in playing more point-and-click games and more puzzle games because it really made me think outside the box. It made me really try to push forward. And then there's this really interesting, weird story along the path with that. And it gets creepier and creepier and more unsettling. And I want to go back and look at the rest of their games because apparently their first game was on like a website, and then they've developed a following over the years. And I can see why. They've really nailed down this type of game. And I think audio is always big in every type of game, TV show, movie, whatever. In this particular game, especially a point-and-click adventure puzzle game, you have to have good music. You have to have expert music, and they really do. I was super surprised. I was like, this game is crazy good with the music and the sound design. It sucks you in. It's amazing in that regard. Super fun game. I'm going to give this game a 4 out of 5. If you're interested in puzzle games, point-and-click, and even if you're not, you should give this one a try. It's a really fun game to be a part of. It's not super long. Anybody can play it. And the unsettling, weird characters that you meet, like the maid that's kind of your boss in a way, telling you what to do. She looks like she's just ready to end it all. She really hates the Vanderbooms and is just scared for her life. Weird puzzles, weird ideas. I loved it. And I just wanted to let you know that Lootbound, Memoirium, and Servant Lake are all very different from each other, but they're all fun and good enough to buy. Lootbound, a 4 out of 5. Definitely buy it. Memoirium, 3 out of 5. I think it could have used more time maybe, or some more interesting ideas and speed up the game a little bit, but it's a 3 out of 5, and I really think that if you like Souls game, you need to play it. And it's a crime that there's only 20 reviews on Steam right now. And lastly, Servant of the Lake, excellent point and click adventure. I was genuinely surprised by it. I kind of just took a random chance on it. I give that a 4 out of 5. Thank you so much, and see you in my next video.